Hello, good Friday morning, almost noon.
Pretty close, yes.
Yes. So we are going to make this as quick as we possibly can, but I'm not sure if Ruth and I know how to make something that we are explaining go quickly, but we will try. So we wanted to talk about home buying process, or at least the very start of it where people start to look for homes. And we get some anxious buyers out there, and we wanted to kind of put everybody at ease. So we wanted to start with that. So the answer is the question is, how many houses do you have to look at before you buy? And our favorite answer
like the owl in the Tootsie Pop commercial.
Yes, there you go. Yes, exactly. Well, that's what House Hunters and some of those other shows on TV make it seem like it's, we're going to go out once, we're going to see 3, you pick your favorite, and that's that. And that is a fallacy. First of all, that's so Hollywood, right? The house is already bought. They call random houses to see it afterwards.
Yeah, they go to look at houses that are still listed.
A fact.
After they've already bought one. But it also happens that way. It's not that it's completely untrue. I've shown people 3 houses.
Well, absolutely. And that's what I wanted to say. It depends, right? Our favorite answer to everything is how many houses? It depends.
Yes.
You absolutely can see one house, love it, and buy it. I've had buyers do that. I've had buyers looking for a year. I've had buyers see 5 houses. I've had buyers see 30 houses. But each and every one of those houses is important. Correct, Ruth?
Absolutely. We always say it's a process. And sometimes the process goes quickly. Sometimes it goes slowly. I will say, if you're looking for a year, there's something else going on that you really need to examine, because the houses you're looking at are not going to change that much. They might get better or worse depending on which direction the market's going on, but that's not going to change a lot. So you're looking to make that evolution within yourself, which you're probably not looking deeply at an important part of what you need. So one of the things that we see that causes that is FOMO, right?
Correct.
Fear of missing out. So you're afraid that there's a better house, that there's a less expensive house, that there's a better deal somewhere, somehow else. You're afraid to go under contract because the next one that comes on the market next week might be better.
Correct. And by the way, I'm Danielle Tully.
Oh, and I'm Ruth.
And we're putting the real in real estate.
So FOMO is a big part of it. That is something you're going to have to look at and examine and say, really, if the difference is that you like the paint colors better in that house that you saw the 35th time rather than the first, or it's got a little bit of a nicer kitchen. Maybe those are things that you can address on your own, because once you buy the house, they let you do pretty much whatever you want to it. So that's a big thing to keep in mind. We always use the analogy of a funnel. So where's my hands? You're going to start at the top where everything is a possibility, and you're going to eliminate. And as you eliminate, you get closer and closer. So those eliminations can happen quickly. The majority of them can happen before you ever go inside a house.
Correct.
So you ought to know where you want to live geographically. If there are 3 or 4 towns you're looking at, realistically, you're not paying attention to what's most important to you. So you need to start sifting through, how do I want to live my life? Do we want sidewalks? What are the schools? What do we want to be near? What is painful to us on a day-to-day basis? What is fun on a day-to-day basis? And how do we want to live our life in this space? Are we okay? Does the finances make us the most uncomfortable? So then maybe we want to be farther away from everything because that's more affordable. And the pain is not in the driving back and forth every day, but in the writing the check. Those are all very personal answers that you need to find and start to look at those before you go inside houses.
Correct, because one of the, Ruth was talking about how you can change up a kitchen and you can change the paint colors. You can make little, adjustments to the home. But what's the one thing you can't change? It's the location. The location is where it's at. If it meets your needs and your wants and your desires, great. You can never change the location, and on that also land size or lot size,
Yeah, location goes beyond the town that it's in. It's also where it is on the block, what's next door to it, what's nearby in other ways, and what's far away. If work is far away, that's going to impact your day-to-day life, because it's going to take you a lot of time to get back and forth from there. Sorry.
Correct. So one of the things that, we kind of, when we start off with buyers, we kind of have them try to figure out what she was just saying, what's most important. Where is the location? Is it the schools? Is it the price? Is it the, convenience level to other things? Is it being by friends or family? Is it the size of the lot you can get for the amount of money you have? So those are all very important. And then we also encourage people to drive by and get a feel for the neighborhood or get a feel for the area. That is an important part. I mean, somebody might tell you this is a great area, or a great school or whatever, but your needs are not what other people's needs are. So you might drive down a neighborhood and be like, this makes me feel like I'm at home. And others might go, oh, it's too far from this, or it's too close to this. Everybody has their own
Or it's
needs.
ugly. It's not my style. It's
correct.
It's just not, it doesn't have that you need, and getting all the way to your door and inside your house before you have that feeling of being home isn't going to be enough. So you really want to explore those places, neighborhoods, and you'll find that even though on a map or at first glance, they seem relatively equal, there are some you're going to relate to more than others. So that's where you want to focus.
So when we go into each house and we have, people have showings and view the houses, we both like to ask, what's one thing you really liked about the house, even if it's the worst house they've ever seen, because there was something that drew them there. What was it that drew them there? Was it the location? Was it the size? Was it the size of the bedrooms?
In that case, it's almost always the price.
Yeah, right. Which then your expectations have to change, but that is also still helpful. It's not a waste of time. It is, even if it's the worst house you've ever seen, it taught you something. This neighborhood, this area, whatever, might not be the price, or I'll have to pay more, or whatever, adjustments. And then equally, even if it's the greatest house that they've ever seen, is there something that you wish was a little different? Because finding a perfect house is kind of a fallacy. I mean, even if it's beautiful today and it has the gray and the quartz and the this and the that, eventually that's going to be out of style, and it's not going to be your perfect house anymore. You're going to want to make adjustments and changes.
Sometimes it doesn't even take that long. And we want to, right. Worse than FOMO is buyer's remorse. So we don't want you to get under contract on a house and then say, oh, I didn't realize the bathroom was so small. So we want to have those conversations outside on the front lawn, far from the Ring doorbell, before we go forward with an offer. So we're going to ask you to critically look both at houses you love and houses you hate. The other thing we like to do is have you rate them. So the first house we see is going to be number one. There isn't anything else to compare it to, so that's your number one. If you're part of a couple or a group of people who are buying a home together, it's all of your number one. The next house we see, now you have options. That house can be number one. It can be number two. And people involved can have different number ones and number twos. The third house can displace number one, it can displace number two, or it can be number three. And There is no number four. So if we see 117 houses, you still only have 3 on your list.
Correct.
Each person can have 2 separate lists, but that's going to make you have those hard conversations other than it's fine. with.
Well, and again, that goes back into the what did you like, what did you not. So when you start going into house number 2, house number 3, you could say, remember you wanted the bathroom, you wanted a half bath on the main floor, or you wanted this and wanted that. And then you can change your mind too. Just because you said it in the first house and the second house, you might start to think, again, back to the neighborhoods or the price range or whatever, you can start to change. Okay, you know what? I don't think I'm going to find it in the neighborhood I'm looking for or whatever. And it's okay, but you still want to be moving forward, moving towards your goal. We are here to help you reach your goal. And the first part of reaching that goal of having a new home is to help you process that.
Yeah. And we'll be coaching you through it. So we help you look analytically at something that you reacted to emotionally and figure out whether that truly is the right house or not. So we do need, that cooperation and homework that goes a long way to getting you where you need to go. And if you are a person who needs to see more houses because you just really, really need to feel sure, we can do that too. But we will caution you that that's a very frustrating way to go through the experience. Seeing, I would say, more than maybe 10 houses is where it starts to get super frustrating for most buyers. And then typically we find we bring you back to the beginning and start over in the process and see if we can figure out what it is that's kind of causing a block. Because I can guarantee you it's not the houses that you're looking at. So yes, sorry.
No, it's, so that is, we just wanted to set the record straight that if it does take you more. Oh, and the last thing I want to say, it's very highly against, I think, our better judgment to show more than 5 or 6 houses in a day. I know
Absolutely.
People want to, let's take all day Saturday, see this entire list, and let's go. But I'll tell you, it gets confusing for everybody. You start to go, wait, was the one with the nice foyer the first one we saw or the 7th one we saw?
Exactly. Did that have the yellow walls?
Next thing you have a Franken house where you've taken favorites from all the homes and gotten real confused at what was what. And so we'd like to take it in small segments. And using the 1, 2, 3 or top 3 method. Once you get to number 2, 4, 5, whatever, and you've dropped 2 off, you've made an accomplishment. But now you got to focus on those 3. Are any of those 3 really hitting all your buttons and your numbers and all that other stuff? Or does this have to continue? But we do think that starting with your top 5 gives you a better chance of really being able to choose that house for you.
Yep. So, and we have a very high level of success with coaching people through this process. So reach out to us if you're interested in getting started, and we'll get you where you want to be.
Absolutely. Until next week.
See ya.
Bye-bye.